Yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about mental health, and then um, there are different kinds of concepts on mental health. We'll talk about the one that makes sense for us, especially in DAOs and working virtually. Um, but yeah, you can have a day that you experience bad stage of mental health, a day that you experience good stage of mental health. And for me, I am in a good day. This week it's been a lot of things going on at the same time, but still are things and projects that I love and like to be involved. So I am always happy to contribute. And I love the topic, so I'm really excited for today's session. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What you said about there's days that sometimes your mental health is not as great, and then other days that are very good or really feel that one. Just hopefully you have more good days than bad days. Like every once in a while, no doubt you're going to have a bad day, but it's definitely great that you're talking about mental health in DAOs as well, because I feel like a lot of my mental health is based on the vibes within the DAO as well, and I think that Optimism has a pretty good vibe. Also, why I joined the Optimism team. Just love the vibes.
Awesome. Yeah, I love what you said. It's all about the companies the people that we interact with. It has a huge effect on how we see ourselves. Yeah. So I'm gonna start. Um, in Gravity, there is one activity that we like to do that it's called Inclusive Welcome. We learn it from Lean. She's a Gravity contributor, and I love and I appreciate that she bring it to us. And I want to spread the word over here too. So I want to welcome everybody in this space. I want to welcome all the different energy, all the different stage, um, whatever you're coming from. Um, and we want to express out loud a very warm welcome to everyone here this morning, during the day, or this evening. Welcome everyone who is new to the DAO space or in this community, just walks in by accident and feels dizzy what it's all about. Welcome everybody between time zones, between cultures, backgrounds, and languages. Welcome everyone who feels a bit old in this space. I feel young's being here again. Welcome alter egos, multiple personalities, non binary identities, people juggling with multiple lives online and offline. So as many yous as they are. Welcome to every aspect of your personality. To change, welcome to chaos, welcome to feelings of whatever kind. Welcome to the way you are today. Welcome to your own self and your own expression and creativity. And welcome all the different kinds. And special welcome to the people who join us right now. Thank you all so much for being here and sharing this time with me. My name is Bianca. I am a psychologist. I work with Gravity as a contributor over a year and a half now. Um, and today we're going to talk about mental health awareness um, in general, but also especially in DAOs, and personal time versus work time. I want to share with you some slides and we can all go through it together. Um, I believe there is a link in the group chat, but I can also put it there again. Um, this document, we are collecting all the slides from past trainings, so you can see it all at the bottom of the slideshow. And we starting this training. This is the third week, and we're gonna go until September. Gravity talks about conflict management and culture well-being in DAOs. And these are the times that we have the training schedule. Friday is our special session for every week, so it's a different topic every Friday. The first two days in a week, Tuesday and Thursday, it's the same topic in different time zones. And tomorrow, we are also going to talk about optimism agreements, social norms. So we are planning a really cool session for tomorrow. So make sure you put in your calendar, correct the time for yourself, for your own time zone. And yeah, we're excited to be here. And if you've been here before, you already know how to participate. So check the content related to each course in our free online course. We have a free version of the course on our website. Come to the live sessions like today and claim the POAPs at the end. This is the content we planned for these 6 weeks. So now we are in week 3. And next week we're going to talk about negotiation. So it's going to be really cool. And these are links here. You can see the online course that I talked about in Gravity. It's a free course and you can take in your own time. And I'm gonna apologize for any background sound. We have construction going on next to us here. I'm from Brazil. So my first language is Portuguese. And yeah, also if you if you see some words that sounds clunky from me, I apologize for that. I will try to be as clear as I can. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the week 3. We're going to talk about what is mental health. Like I was saying in the beginning, there are some different concepts on mental health. In here, we're talking about one specific. If you know a different way to talk mental health, you can also share with us in a chat. And yeah, we can learn and collect this together. How to perceive our mental health in our routine. So how can I observe myself in my routine, and like we were doing the check-in before, am I in a good day, am I in a bad day? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're also going to try to draw the line between work and self-time. It's something that it's really challenging when most of us work from home. And some tips to manage a good stage of mental health. This is the POAP you're going to collect at the end. And if you have also any trouble with the POAPs, let us know. So, talking about mental health. I have this quote from this handbook on how to support mental health at work that I really find interesting. You can check here for more content of the book. But I like the way they describe it. So I'm going to read together. Mental health is the way we think and feel in our ability to deal with ups and downs. Mental health is something we all have. When we enjoy good mental health, we have a sense of purpose and direction. The energy to do things we want to do, and the ability to deal with the challenge that happen in our life. So, mental health is the way we feel about things around us. It's um, it's our ability to go through something and overcome it. And if we don't feel like we can or we don't know how, it says a lot about the stage that we are experiencing our mental health. So I really like to compare as physical health. So in physical health, it can be maybe easier to see or experience or realize that you're going through some issue in your body. So when you experience bad physical health, you can see maybe more present. So you can see that somebody is walking funny, or maybe somebody is not reaching something that's higher, or they cannot stand up pretty well, like they need help, or they need help to go to the bathroom, and so on. And usually they take um, some medicines for pain, and yeah. So, like physical health, maybe it's easier for us to see and recognize that we need help and our body is going through something. When we experience good physical health, um, it's awesome. But it's not only because we experience good physical health that we shouldn't do anything about it. We should still eat good, we should still exercise, so we can continue experience that good physical health, especially as we get older. Um, Mental health, it's really similar. So when one feels that they're not experiencing good mental health, they can feel down. They can feel that they need to do more than the others to accomplish something. Um, and usually, if somebody is experiencing depression, for example, doesn't necessarily mean that that person's not happy, for example. Um, so we can tell just looking at them because they still laugh and they smile and they socialize. But when that person is stay by themselves in their house, it's when they experience the most of that mental disease. So it's harder to diagnose. Um, I don't like the word diagnose, but you know what I mean. Like it's harder for us to tell when somebody's going through something if they don't say. So if I am related to the person and I spend time with them, maybe I'm gonna see it more clear because I already know their patterns. I already know the way they behave, the way they face look like when something happens. So maybe I see that my best friend it's not in her best. So then like knowing more about us and about the others, it's a way that we can support ourselves and support others. And yeah, we all go through problems in our lives, and it's okay if or when we know how to deal with them. But it's not simple as it and it can get big and become something more serious. So when we don't know how to overcome that obstacle, is then we need to ask for help, and that's a bit challenging to do that because often we are afraid of admitting that we don't feel that great, and we are afraid of others people judgment. Maybe they would even say like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you were fine. We were just laughing." I would never think that you were going through something like that. It's something that we can we hear a lot. Um, but yeah, this is the concept of mental health that we like and we feel connected to. That we can all experience the good and the bad, but it's our ability to overcome it that's mostly gonna say if we are in a good stage or not. And how can we see that in our routine, in ourselves? How can we perceive that we are in a good stage of mental health? So I like to show this study because it's about the pandemic, but it's great to look back and see how our lives changed. Um, because it's something that we all experienced, the pandemic. Not in the same way, we all experienced differently, especially in different countries. We saw that some got more affected than others. Some countries did some like political regulation around it, different than others. But it's something that we've all been through, and we haven't experienced that before. So before 2020, it was something that we would read in a book, something that we would just study about in school, and it was really far away from us. But it got us hard, and I like this study because it shows um, what happened to these 2/3 of adults in the survey. So more than 50% um, reported worse mental health, lower physical activity, disturbed sleep, and increased reliance on unhealthy habits, all of which have an impact on employees' health and well-being, the workplace environment, and productivity. So it didn't just affect our own um, life, but also the way that we work and we see and we do stuff. And like I was saying before, like this low physical activity, it's really important for our physical health, but it also have an effect in our mental health. Same thing with sleep and unhealthy habits. That's why it is important for us to be aware of that. So if during a week I realize that I'm eating more than often, I can look back and say, wow, what is happening to me? What happened this week that I see that I am eating more than I usually do? Or that I feel down than I usually do? Or I just don't want to go for my regular walks. So um, this ability to look at ourselves and realize what's happening to us, it's a good habit to create. And more in touch we are with ourselves, more we're gonna have the perception of our own needs. And talking about last Friday's session, we talked a lot about nonviolent communication, but also how is the relationship with our own needs and how do we self connect. And I remember Marcelo was talking that the most direct to conflict resolution is through self connection. And we see mental health as a way to um, also deal with conflict, but before it happens. So it's a conflict prevention. If I know more about myself, if I know more about my own habits, and I'm connected to myself, I can see when I am getting agitated, when I am not feeling good, when I am feeling that it's just not okay for me. I have that self connection and I can realize it. And before I say something that's going to hurt the other person, I can prevent the conflict just knowing more about the stage that I am at that time. So I can take a step back, I can walk around the house, grab a glass of water, and try to calm down myself. But talking about the pandemic, it changed us in so many ways that I want you also to reflect, do you see yourself in this scenario, this study scenario, where people reported worse mental health, lower physical activity, disturbed sleep, and unhealthy habits? If you do, what changed? Or if now you see yourself actually doing better, what was that changed? What was the key that turned in your brain and made you um, go away from those habits? So we were all affected by the pandemic in different ways, but what was the way that you were impacted by? And also a good question, are we ever gonna go back to what we used to be before? I think that we are not, because our brain has this um, plasticity that after we go through something, our brain changes. So we change. So before this session, we were one person. After this session, we're going to be someone else. Not like in personality, but our brains are going to be changing. It changes with information, changes when we create something new. It changes when I decide to have a dog. So everything that we do in our life, our brain is always changing. So I don't think we're ever going to go back to what we used to be before. We can try to be if we want to. And it's also cool to see if, like, were you, do you think you were your best before, or do you think your best is now? Are you trying to improve yourself, or you just got stuck somehow and you can't get off that? Did you get more in touch with other people? Did you get more in touch with yourself? How's your social connection? So here I brought two articles that RNDAO made a research on Web3. So this is not the name of the articles, I just put here so you can click on it. One is how to measure community health in Web3, and the other one is what is the Web3 community and when is it healthy? So also changing, not changing, I'm sorry, having this perception about ourselves, it's gonna help us have the same perception around people that we work with, and that people that are in the same community as we are. So like, Reform Normie was talking in the beginning that he loves to spend time in LP community because of the way just people are and the energy around it. So, is it something that we should pay attention and see, like, oh, I am actually in my best performance when I'm around this group of people that I know I can trust. I know they're high energy. I know that I can talk to them about something and I can trust them. So this is something good to try to cultivate in the Web3 community. This sense of um, this sense of togetherness, the sense of family, the sense of friends, um, that we can rely on others if we're going through something. I can ask for help, um, and I can see that that's also a safe space for me, and I don't need to hide the way I am. So I want to just take some time right now, and in everything I just said, how are you taking care of yourself? How do you perceive the mental health in your routine? Do you see yourself in a stress scenario? Do you see yourself in a safe space? Do you feel stressed? Do you feel like you have a lot in your back? And just content in the. How do you perceive the relationships around you? Talking about taking care of ourselves, it's also important for us to see the relationship that we have around us, because that says about more about us than it says about the other. So how are you around your parents? How are you with your kids? With your partner? How are you with yourself? Um, if you do have a partner, are you more aggressive? Are you more sad when you're around them? Or are you happier? Are you more relaxed? And what about your kids? Do you want to spend time with them? Do you feel like they are somehow a big part of your life? Or you just feel they get in your nerves? Um, in your parents, do you often talk to your parents? Do you feel any different when you're around them? Or maybe you miss them? And what about yourself when you are alone, when you have to share of your own company? How is that for you? Do you need noise around you so you don't feel alone? Do you like to spend time with yourself or not? So, when we take a look at the relationships around us, we can realize the way that we behave, the way that we are connected to ourselves, and also about others, because there are some people that it's normal that we feel safer and we can feel that we can be ourselves than other people. Some people just get in your nerves, and what I want to encourage you to do here is trying to understand why you feel the way you feel. Um, why do you behave the way you behave? What's that in that person that triggers me something? And what are the things that changed in your life in the past 5 years? So, not only talking about the pandemic, but when you look 5 years back, is that something different? Or maybe looking at 1 year back after the pandemic already. Are you happier or sad? What would you do different if you are in a stage in your life that you wanna just not be anymore? Or maybe you already got there. What's next? How's your routine? Are you taking care of your body, mind, and spirit? If you believe that? When was the last time you invested time in your life? So I like here to really pay attention at the wording invested time because it's not spending time. Nowadays, it's really easy to just spend time on Twitter, on Instagram, on I don't know if people still use Facebook, but it's really not difficult to just spend time. But when do you invest time in yourself? When you go and read a good book, or go and get a massage, go for a bike ride, or go on vacation. It's so hard in Web3 to just disconnect and be with yourself. When was the last time you did that? Where like you just left all the device behind. You had no Wi-Fi, no internet, and you were just investing time being you. And how do you feel about it? What do you feel when you invest time in yourself? Do you feel like you're wasting time? Do you feel like there is still so much to do that you cannot take a break? So, here again, I'm using the word problem, but I don't like it. Um, because I don't necessarily think it's a problem, but what is that in workspace related to mental health? Um, so, do you have a lot of workload? Or do you experience, or do you know somebody who has a lot of workload? Burnout. Here you can also click and it's gonna bring you to this awesome content. Aloysius wrote. Aloysius is a gravity contributor, and they wrote down about burnout in a lovely way that I encourage you to come and take a look on this content. So they talk about themselves. What is the 3 Bs? I love this. They talk about balance, break, and boundaries, which also comes to what we're going to talk here in boundaries. Do you have boundaries with people around you? Do you have boundaries with yourself? When you go and book your weekly agenda and you don't schedule a time to do something for yourself, or maybe your agenda is just so overload that you just don't have any boundaries anymore. It's just like, okay, whatever, let's book any time and talk about this topic that needs to be talked, and it goes on. So, are we experiencing a lot of stress? How is our routine? Are we eating good? Are we even eating in Web3? Um, I know a person that they only eat 1 time a day because they work so much. That for me is insane. I can never do that because of my own body condition. But yeah, this is something to maybe pay attention. And do you share identity in your workspace? This is something really important for us. This is where we're gonna relate to people. Is there somebody like you are? Maybe you feel different from the others. Do you get enough support in 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 the place that you work or you spend most of your time? So I put this information here just so we can maybe draw a picture about how um, investing in well-being can change not only our own lives, but it can actually change the economy. And you can read this after. I'm trying to also have enough time at the end so we can have a little bit of an exercise. But this is also some questions that we don't know how to answer, and we don't need to have a right answer for it. That's like we talk about mental health often, all the time, and we know it's important to talk about it. But what are we effective doing about the topic? Are we just listening to it and not doing anything? I think I have a funny story about this on where we just listen to something and don't do anything. In my own family, my mom, she's always trying to lose weight, right? As a woman, maybe that's a thing, but she's constantly listening to videos and searching how to lose weight fast and all these things. And it's been over years now that she does it. She even go to sleep listening to videos on YouTube about how to lose weight. But over the years, she's actually putting weight on. And she's just listening to it, but she's not doing much. She's not eating better. She's not exercising more. So, are we effectively doing something about mental health, or are we just talking about it all the time? What are our colleagues feeling? Do you feel connected to them? Do you feel connected to the people that you work with? Do you know what are they feeling? Do you know what they're going through? Um, how are you personally taking care of yourself? Here, I want us to have this sense of community, but also yourself. Like, if you are not the first person to take care of yourself, I don't know if somebody else is going to. Um, and the last one, how can we take a break working online with all this load that we have on top of us? Can we take a break? Can we go and have some time, disconnect? Or maybe how can we put that in our own routine? So in Gravity, we run a research about mental health in Web3. And for some time, we were collecting some articles. We were having weekly calls. People would come in. We will work on this together. And it was a great time that we saw that maybe people are experiencing the same, but we're not talking about it at all. So we put together 36 questions for each of those factors in here, and we have a total of 59 people participating in the survey. And this also talks about how many people are interested on taking some time to look at their own mental health, because we have so many people out there. And we spread the survey in very different communities and on Twitter, and people retweeting it for us and so on. But only 59 answered the survey until the end. And I'm happy those 59 did it because it meant a lot. Here are the questions that went to the survey. Those in blue, after we run the results and look at the numbers, we saw those questions were not really good. Um, so like in the future, if we're gonna do the survey again, which we're working on publishing the results, and maybe we'll run it again, we would take this in blue out, but I wanted to put in here so you had a full scope of what were the questions. And you can read through this later. So these are some feedbacks from the participants. I thought it was interesting to bring it here. Um, Maybe I'm not going to read it all, but I'll read the first two. So this person said, I often accumulate work during days, and then I sit and have a hacking session where I make things. Procrastinating makes me build anxiety until the moment I sit and do things. So this person here is saying that they have a lot to do and they are not doing and breaking down through their days, and it gives them anxiety. And then there's one day they sit down and do it all at once. This other person said, I've only recently started to work 10 hours a day because I'm upset and unsatisfied with my current financial status. It has been a challenge, but personally, as long as I exercise, meditate, and take breaks every 90 minutes, it is a fulfilling challenge. So this person here tells us that they are connected to themselves and they know their own needs, and they are mindful of the things that surround them, and they're taking breaks, they're exercising, meditate, taking care of their body, mind, and spirit, even though they work 10 hours a day. But it's for an end. They are insatisfied with their current financial status, and I get it. But the cool thing here is to see that they're not just doing that 10 hours a day and just getting that workload, they're also releasing the stress in the amount of things that it puts on. So with all this, here are some tips that things that we could do different. And I like this of schedule an intentional time to exercise. So the same way that we all have our calendars booked, put there an intentional time to exercise, at least 3 times a week. And it's a challenge I propose you to do. See what is the best time and book that time in your calendar, and you're gonna write down exercise time. Maybe you really like to go for swimming and you haven't swum in so much time, and you can do it. I mean, if you have a pool and stuff. But if you have the how to do the exercise you like to do, you should do it. Share problem solving. Maybe you've been through something that was really hard for you, and sharing that, it's actually gonna bring you the energy that you also need to release of like, I did that, I've been through it. And the other person also needs to hear a different experience. This is a way we also can take care of ourselves and at the same time. This is the social connection that brings us together. Make people feel that they're important and they matter. So tell people around you how much they've done, how much you love their work, how you just appreciate them in their time and their effort. Tell them they matter. And separate your work hours and your personal time intentionally again. So put a time that works best for you. Maybe you're actually best to work is at night times. So maybe you're gonna go and exercise and meditate in the morning and take that as your personal time. Do something for yourself. Maybe learn something different that you've been wanting to learn for so long. And yeah, if you have also some tips that you did in the past and worked for you, to connect to yourself, to connect to others, to put yourself in first place. I would love to hear about it. If you want to share in the chat, I would love to read it. And here we go to the practice activity that we're gonna do today. So if you can grab the biggest piece of paper you have next to you and three colors of pen or pencils. So I'm gonna give 2 minutes so everybody has those material in hands and we can start doing this together. So grab a piece of paper, three different colors, pencil or pen, and we're gonna do a little activity where we're gonna think about things that we do in our lives, things that represent us, um, what we are doing, what are the things we like to do. It's a cool exercise. I like it. I'll give an extra minute if somebody would also um, would also be great if somebody share with me in a chat like, hey, I got the paper. Let me know how you're doing. Thanks, V. You got your pens and your paper. So I'm gonna share my screen. Not my screen. Open my camera so I can share with you my own paper. So now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put squares, rectangles in a piece of paper. So what I want you, before you do that, what I want you to do is choose one color to do bigger squares or rectangles. You do the bigger ones with one color. You do the medium ones with another color, and you do small ones with a third color. Okay? Amount of squares on mine, I did 3 of each, so 3 bigs with blue, 3 mediums with black, and 3 littles in red. Okay? I'll give you some time to do it. Do it big, don't do it so small because we're gonna write inside of it. When the first person tell me they done, I'll go to the next slide. I was searching here a word in Portuguese that I wanted to say in English and I didn't know how to say it. I couldn't find it. But done. Thanks, V. Okay, so in the middle of each square, you're gonna write something that represents you. So in the bigger ones, you're gonna write down something that represents you the most. In the medium ones, something that represents you a little bit less, but it still represents you significantly. And in small ones, you're gonna write down things that represents you the little. Does it make sense? So things that represents you and also according to the size of the square. And if you have only one color, it's fine. The different colors, it helps looking at how things represent you in different scales. So, for example, in one of the big ones, I'm gonna write gravity because I love being part of gravity and I feel very connected to its mission and values. The other one for me that's big is psychologist. Psychologist and being a woman. The medium ones, I'm gonna write down artist because I love that and it's something that I should do more often. I'm gonna write down wife because also represents me and I feel connected to it. What did I put? I'm having the one from last sessions. I'm gonna put down Web3. Web3 slash DAOs. Okay, in the small ones, I'm gonna put one of them. I'm gonna put Brazilian. And you can do the way it makes sense for you. The other one, I'm gonna put dog's mom. I have two little dogs that I love. And I'm gonna leave one blank because I can't think about it right now. So this is how mine looks. It's just an example for you. And I hope you're doing that yourself. And if you want to share at the end, like a picture of it, you can. Okay, so after that, we're gonna put down two squares at the right side. So the top squares, you're gonna write down days you involved. It represents in a month, so 0 to 30. So if you're involved on it only like 2 days in a month, you put 2. And the square in the bottom right, you're gonna put time in years. So for how long you've been doing that activity or that something represents you. Okay, so I'm just saying out loud my example so you have an idea. Gravity days involved 20 because I try to just be off during the weekends. Time in years 2. A woman In the bottom left, you're gonna put time engaged in a day. So how much time you spend on that during the day. So for example, me in Gravity, I would say 8 hours a day. Psychologist is a little bit less, 4 hours. Woman, I'm gonna put 24 because I just can't stop being that. Um, okay. Dog's mom, I'm gonna put 24 because they also sleep in a room in their own bed, but they do. Sometimes we need to get up in the middle of the night. Let's see. Artist, I barely spend time during the day. So I'm gonna put 1 hour if so. So it also shows me how much something important to me. And if I'm spending time doing the last square, it's gonna be in the top left. It's how do you feel positive to be part of that something. So between 0 to 10, how do you feel positive being part of that? So in Gravity, I'm gonna put 10 because I just love people there. Psychologist, I'm gonna do 10. Woman, for me it's a 6 because it's challenging. Web3, Web3 is also challenging and it puts us in different places every day. So you put there the number that you feel positive to be part of. And at the end, this is how it's gonna look, more or less. And then you can also connect the squares around. And if you do a straight line, it means that there is no conflict between those things that represent you. If you do more stressed line, no, a more irregular line, it means that it has a lot of stress. So, for example, being in Gravity and being in Web3, it's basically the same, so there's no conflict. And this is what I wanted to show you. I know we're on top of the hour, so I hope you enjoyed this activity and it's something for us to reflect on and being aware. So I just want to say thank you and share the poll app with you really quick. I'm sorry it took a lot of time.
You're good. Thank you so much, Bianca and Juan.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And you can collect your POAPs. If you have any problems with the POAPs, let us know. We can get something fixed for you. Juan, do you want to say something, or V? I will leave the mic open.
Just thank you very much to everyone present. Um, it's great to have a space to talk about mental health because it's something that sometimes we overlook. And yeah, thanks everyone for the time, and we will leave the stage for the next call.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody.